All right, Jack, I hope you are well. So just introduce yourself. Who are you and what do you do?
Hello everyone, Jack Walsh here. I've just started my own business, JWI Commercial, supporting founders, growing outbound sales teams.
Nice, man. So obviously you're doing that on LinkedIn as well, right?
Predominantly LinkedIn, yeah, LinkedIn and the odd networking event.
That's the place to be. So
Mate, 100%.
yeah, man, we've been working together for around 6 weeks now. So before starting with me, what was your main issue? What were you struggling with?
So I just come out of 13 and a half years of employment, right? So that employed mindset, was looming over me quite a bit. So before I started speaking with you, my structure throughout the day, sort of starting from the morning, was really kind of volatile. I'd get up at random times. Sometimes I'd sleep in, sometimes, I'd do some work throughout the day, but my structure was really kind of up and down. It wasn't consistent at all.
Yeah. What was the effect that you noticed of you not having that consistency?
Just more my mindset. So again, some days I'd feel like I hadn't put enough work in. Some days I felt low, like I felt a little bit like nervous, like I just walked away from a 13 and a half year career. Um, so I just didn't have that stability. I didn't have that structure. So as a result, yeah, the work wasn't being done. I just had no yeah, I was struggling to see like the end goal.
Mm. And can you talk about sort of the comfortable element as well? I know we were sort of battling before you came to me.
For sure. So I as you know, I was still, so what I did, I was still working with my old employer. So I actually started working with them 2 days a week, um, off the back of me leaving. So I was working with them every Wednesday and Thursday, and I felt like I was still employed to a point. I wasn't thinking self-employment. I wasn't thinking, I didn't have that mindset. I was still living that employed life. So, not even Monday to Friday, the weekends was still, I was basically just on holiday. I kind of felt like I was just dipping in and out of, um, self-employment.
Yeah, and obviously that's what we spoke about a lot on our first initial call. And what made you decide that you wanted to actually start with me in order to make a change?
So from our first call, so you reached out to me on LinkedIn, um, and then from our first call as well, I thought, oh, I'll just give it a go. Why not? And I was just having a lot of meetings at the time just because I was just taking lots of meetings. So off our first call, there wasn't an ask. It was more just an honest conversation between us. You asked some really good questions, and like they were so thought provoking that I took those into the whole of the next week. So one of the ones that stood out for me was 5 a.m. So I got up at 5 a.m. every day just because of what you said and what you made me say as well through your questioning. So like it was just self-realization that I wasn't doing enough and that I didn't have that mindset. And if I
Mhm.
continued on doing what I was doing, I wasn't going to succeed. And that was like the wake up call for me. So for that whole week, I was up at 5 a.m. just doing the basic. I mean, I didn't think I was going to go forward, but I just thought, you know what, actually, this guy's quite inspiring. And he asked me some good questions that made me sort of think, right. So for that whole week until we spoke again, I was up at 5 because I didn't want to tell you that I wasn't getting up at 5. I was like that immediately. I had that accountability.
Where do you see this going as a result of us continuing to work together?
I just think we can't not succeed if we continue this trajectory. Like if we continue this, it can't not work.
What makes you say that?
Well, just through the consistency alone, I've just seen it in our early engagement, right? 6 weeks in, and we've already done so much, and I'm on the cusp of bringing on 2 to 3 customers.
Were you expecting these sorts of results before you came on board?
I saw the value in working with a coach.
Mm,
For sure. I wouldn't have done it had I not seen the value. And I saw the value early on because you gave without asking. So you gave something, and it wasn't even like you gave me anything. You just asked the right questions, so I arrived at the result myself. But it
mm,
was you asking that question, that third party that had no skin in the game, just your own insights based on what I said. So
mm,
I, I did expect the results, to be honest, because I could see that the value in it.
definitely. And when we obviously look at results and the difference this has made, what's been your key highlight, or what have you found most beneficial out of us working together?
Just the having somebody that is sort of not pushing you. Although actually, you said I could say that because I'm from sales background, right? My results are based on pressure, and to have that accountability. So somebody that's going to be checking in with you sort of daily to see what the plan is, hold me accountable, what we
Mm,
actioned, what's working, what didn't work. Um, yeah,
100%. And who would you actually recommend this to or for? What I do.
to be honest, it's anyone that's just looking to progress because it's so easy to just take the path of least resistance. Like we've all got that voice in our head that's telling us, just don't do it this time, just take a break, don't get up,
Mm,
sleep in, just, we'll do it tomorrow. Everyone's got that voice. So
mm,
I'd say anyone that's sort of not wants more out of what they're currently doing. And I say that loosely because you could apply it to anyone, like from like a founder's perspective.
mm.
Somebody you're very it's been very beneficial for me to have that third party with no skin in the game that's holding me accountable to what I do.
Yeah. And without that accountability, how do you feel like things would be different? Because you said that you know that we're going to succeed at this, and I know that we will because you're very ambitious and driven. You just sort of need someone to an outside view looking in, being like, "Do this, do that. Let's do this instead. Let's try that," to make sure that your actions are actually successful actions in the day. What would do you feel like the difference would be if you didn't have that?
I just think I've got a very short window to make this work, right? I've given myself 6 months, and I
Mm,
think time is my most valuable asset right now. And I think it would have been wasted that time, and I probably would have had to revert back. So yeah, the cost of time I think would have been the heavy toll on not having
yeah.
somebody that was going to hold me accountable.
I also want to ask you, 'cause this is something we mentioned on the first call, about your confidence levels that your business will work. Are they different now compared to what they were before?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, my confidence levels on it. I was, I was almost talking myself down sometimes. Like I think, oh, if it doesn't work, I'm employable, can always go out to somewhere else. And it was like that voice in my head that was just telling me that, if it doesn't work, I had my foot like kind of, or I had my toe in the pool. I had like one foot in the
Yeah,
pool, and then the other foot was on the ground. Was on dry land. I was just sort of dipping in and out. But I think with you,
yeah,
they're sort of pushing me, believing that we can make this work because you've seen it through people that you've probably worked with as well.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
What did I say to you when you told me about being like half in, half out?
Right,
Do you
kill the
remember?
voice.
Yeah,
Kill the voice. Kill that voice. We need to kill that version of you. But
yeah,
that person that's just thinking, because I used to always say like, I'll always be okay, like regardless of the outcome. I used to have
yeah,
that kind of mindset, um, that kind of that view. Well, whatever happens, I'll be okay. But on
Mm.
this occasion, that wouldn't really have worked because I needed to make this work, and I didn't. And that mindset was holding me back.